trying to go. I'm down to ride. You ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that night. I'm bound to punch. I'm trying to go. I'm down to ride. Are you ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that night. Pack a punch, bitches, free 99. Capture all my greatness, keep that thing on rewind. Sucker, you can't even lace my boots if it's space to shoot for the guard your grill. We're gon' die just skills cause the scars are real. Highlight stars and blood, let's showcase some skill. Fight heads, everything on the tape is real. And the host is Nikki and her tapes is real. You tuned in, click subscribe cause it makes sense. I welcome you to the fight heads. Yeah, I'm bound to punch. I'm trained to go. I'm down to ride. You ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that line. I'm bound to punch. I'm trained to go. I'm down to ride. Are you ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that line.
Boom. Welcome to Fight Heads MMA. It's me, Miss Nikki. What is good, y'all? Yo. Y'all showed up. Y'all showed up at BKFC 56. Y'all showed up like Utah is the place. Like y'all showed up. So first, before we go anywhere, let me just say, Miss Nikki, Fight Heads MMA, is dubbing Utah one of the most dangerous places to fight in the United States. Not because it's dangerous up there, but the elevation that is real. It's real. It's real. Oh, yeah. Congratulations to all my winners. All my winners. Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations, you guys. Over all combat sports. Yeah. Congratulations. If you got your W's last night, congratulations. Yeah, y'all worked hard. Y'all went in there. I said some things to y'all before y'all went into battle. I meant those things. I am not taking it back. Nope, not at all. Not gonna take it back. I stand on everything I say. I know that each one of you has that 50% chance of winning your fight going into your fight. So you know what I'm saying? It is what it is at the end of the day or the end of the night. Yes, baby. So I don't even know where I want to start. Like, first, let's start with the preliminary fights. Like, gentlemen, like from the first bell on the card, like I hit the floor. I thought guns was shooting in my house because y'all was firing shots like guns. It was a couple AK-47s, some 9mm, some 38s, some 22s in the house last night. Y'all was firing on all cylinders. I always say, for me, my personal preference is the very first fight on the card, wherever, boxing, MMA, bare knuckle, that first fight usually sets the pace for the rest of the night on the card. And damn, if that was not correct last night, y'all kept that shit moving. I am like, thank y'all. First, let me say thank you. Thank you. Everybody that went into battle, thank you. Yeah. y'all just really, really turned up and turned out. Like Salt Lake City, y'all filled the house, sold it out. Very proud of y'all. Proud of the promotion. Congratulations. Who went in there and got bucked up last night? Yes. So, two people before I even get started. I need y'all to come on down to the front of the congregation. Beck Rawlings and Howard Davis. I'm gonna just give it to y'all the way I felt it, the way I seen it. That's the only way I know how is to be truthful to y'all, the way I absorbed it. I feel like for both of you in your relative fights last night at BKFC 56, I felt that the first mistake that you made may have been the biggest one, which was taking a step back. Taking a step back. When you did that, both of you relinquished any power that you had going into the fight. So that's how I absorbed that. That's really how I absorbed that. Yeah. So I'm watching this fight as I talk to you guys. I'm going to watch it. I've already watched every single fight twice. Like I've watched every single fight twice. That's what I spent my night doing when I got home last night. Kai Stewart ended up being the better fighter last night. His team was able to put together a plan to nullify whatever Howard Davis thought him and his team was bringing. And that was the case going into the fight. Howard said that he could stop anything that Kai was going to do, and Kai could not stop him. And that was the opposite of what we got to see last night. That was opposite of what we got to see last night. So I don't know where this puts Howard Davis in the rankings. But congratulations to Kai Hefty Bag Stewart on retaining and defending that featherweight championship belt. Congratulations, young man. Congratulations. You know, Miss Nikki was riding with Howard going into the fight, you know, and I still stand by what I say. I stand on it. Like any day moving forward, like a fight between you and him, I'm gonna ride with him. You know, you guys were able to Kai's team was able to capitalize on a default in Howard's fighting game, which is Howard has put himself in a position to be a clean fighter, And Kai and his team took that away by making it a dirty fight. It doesn't, at this point, like, you know, we all watched what happened. I mean, we all watched it. So it may not be the style of which we would have liked to see the fight go from either side, But for Kai Stewart, it worked hella good last night. Hella good. Yeah, you took it the first off the bell. You was going backwards for what, Howard? And when you came forward and he was going backwards, you had some success after you initially went first. You was filling him out, and you was trying to get your range. And that's what I'm saying. When you was turning, when he was coming in and he couldn't reach you, that's when you had your most success. You was able to fire off that right hand. But when he grabbed you and initiated that clinch, I don't know whether it was shock or just not wanting to fight him in the clinch. I'm pretty sure going into the fight, you and your team discussed it in that y'all didn't have no plans on being in that clinch. Y'all just didn't. That's not where y'all ever want to go. And not because you can't fight in a clinch, but just because you're a long rangey fighter. So that's what y'all train for. And Kai and his team was able to capitalize off that deficit last night. Period. Point blank. Whether he used wrestling tactics or not, he was just able to capitalize off of that. Yeah. They made the fight dirty. And Howard is a clean fighter. He likes to work with his range. So now that we know it's a deficit, it can't be one moving forward. And I think you waited. You spent a lot of time waiting when you shouldn't have, when you should have been active in the fight. So, like, I'm proud of both of you guys. Y'all put it all on the line. Y'all left it in the ring. I don't know if, as Mr. Feldman would say, if your performance warrants an immediate rematch, or does he let somebody else step up into that number one contender position, and give them a chance at Kai Stewart in that featherweight belt. But I'm pretty sure Kai found some holes in his game too last night, and he's got to fix his too. Whatever ones him and his team feel like he has, I think he needs to reassess that bull rushing tactic that he has, because not every fighter is going to respond in the way that Howard did, and like them forward motion punches to the forehead that y'all run into sometimes can be very dangerous. So Kai essentially made you fight his fight instead of you fighting your fight for most of the fight. There were moments where you were fighting your fight, but at that point, like, you had already let him do the most in the round. Yeah. The adversity that you had was I think mostly yourself, Howard. Just looking at the fight, I think that most adversity you faced in that fight was yourself, and whether your body was responding the way you wanted it to. What were you seeing? That's my question. What were you seeing? Because I see you throwing a lot of feints, but then when you do actually come in, you clearly see that throwing the punch is a waste of your energy, and you throw it anyway. And then it puts you in that position where Kai is now on his offensive and you're on your defense, rolling away from the punches, but still, because he's coming with more than one punch in that sequence, he reaches you with at least one. And those are the ones that count, hon. Yeah, I just looking at the clinch work just makes me really wholly believe that it's not something that you and your team have optimized yet in your fight game. So let's go. Fix them holes. You're definitely going to have to fight back in the division to that number one spot because you got a whole plethora of people behind you. You got people from other countries. I said this going into the fight. We have fighters from other countries in that 145 division that would love to. I'm pretty sure Dave had 50 freaking messages this morning about from fighters who would love to get a crack at that belt. Oh, excuse me. I'm not even disappointed, baby. You gave everything you had in that moment. That's all that, that can be asked of you. In the same token, Kai was doing some little slick stuff. Like I said, they made the fight dirty. Maybe he should have had a point taken from him during the fight for not obeying the ring rules and the referee throwing punches after he's told more than once in some instances in the fight not to throw another punch, to break, to stop. So yeah, I definitely feel like you should have had maybe a point taken from that. Fuck the hard warning because he gave you that. Like you had just did the most at that point. By the time you got the hard warning, you had already done the most. You had hit him in underneath the shorts he was wearing. Bruh? What were you doing? Were you trying to touch his peewee or what? What was that about? And then I think that because Howard and his team didn't doesn't usually work there in training all that much, I think the fact that Kai was able to put that weight on him also helped Kai because it kind of took away some of Howard's energy in the fight. It didn't take away his drive, it just took away some of his energy. And most of y'all know that, man, stop depending on these refs to really, really, I mean, just stop depending on them so much. Go in there and do what you know you got to do. And you just let him push you, and throw all these wild shots. Like none of them had a point of where he was not looking at anything that he was throwing, basically. So the shots he was catching with were blind ones. And if you had it done and continue to do what your coach was telling you, you would have been victorious and you would have been successful. But sometimes there's that disparity in the fight between what we see and what's actually going through you guys' head as the fighter, the person that's living in that moment, the person that's throwing those strikes and receiving, said punishment. So it wasn't till what, round 4, like the end of round 3 is when, to me, when you really started to make any adjustments and to disengage with him, leave yourself enough room off of the ropes to disengage with him instead of being pushed up on the ropes. You see what I'm saying? Like he came in, he was not looking at anything. He just threw his head down and was just throwing punches. And you let him live with that. You gotta live with it, baby. Yeah, right then and there, when you said to the ref, how many more times we gotta do this? And the ref said, this the last time. You should have went to your street fighting. That's what you should have done. You should have definitely went to your street fighting. I know you cleaned up probably what you came in with was street fighting, but there's a part of you that's still there, honey, and there's going to be times when you're going to need to use it. And last night was one of those times, and you should have let it go. And he had his footwork is so disgusting. Like, how do y'all let them get away with that kind of movement? Make them pay for it, like you do, like you do. And I'll say this: they figured that you was probably tired, but they couldn't trust going to 6th round with you and him because that might have been all you needed. And I think you would have probably definitely had the better 6th round. They could not chance that. That's why y'all did not get the sudden death round. Yeah, they couldn't chance it. They didn't want to chance it. Period. So yeah, there you go. But congratulations to Kai Stewart. He's the youngest champion that BKFC has. Let me tell you something. He's probably going to be one of the most sought after fighters for the next few months until that belt changes hands. His team is going to have to work extra hard from this point forward to keep that belt. They're going to have to work. Next person up to bat should be Brandon Superman Allen at that one. Um, him. I'm gonna have to go even look at the rankings to see who would be underneath him at this point. I don't think we have anybody that would be above him. I'm thinking him and Howard were right there together as that division was building up. That's what I'm saying. You let him push you and throw these wild, untrained punches at you. It was almost like at times your feet wasn't getting you where you needed to be in order to land your shots. And I thought at least one of the times Kai's knee touched the canvas was due to a strike from you. I thought at least one of the two times that his knees touched the canvas. I think it was the first time. Yeah, they couldn't risk that six round with you and him. And I don't know, maybe was you not warmed up enough going into the fight or what? Just it seemed like you had a little bit of a slow start. You just immediately went backwards, which I did not like to see you do. but it is what it is. You gave what you had. Kai came in and gave what he had. Two men come in, one leaves victorious, only one. So congratulations to Kai Hefty Bag Stewart on defending his belt, on being the youngest champion that BKFC has. Close those holes, Kai. Close them. If you plan on sticking around and holding on to that belt, you better close those holes because they coming for you. They gonna come for you. And please don't try to get these bigger name fighters, because look, you talking about how those guys looked a little funny to you. Look, that's real manpower. Some of these older fighters coming over from the UFC, that's real manpower. So you might not be ready for that. You may need to close a couple more of them holes for you try to have that discussion with them and try to get rid of some of the people already in your division. So you could build yourself up to taking those real manpower punches. Because even if they look funny to you and you think you can capitalize, there's something about them old salty dogs that just, yeah. So be careful what you ask for, Mr. Stewart. But congratulations on defending your belt against HD Howard Davis. Yeah. Yeah, let's slide on over here to Miss Beck Rollins and Christine Ferreira. I told y'all what that was. That I'm like whether the individual bout turned out the way I thought it would or it didn't. Like I told y'all, that one was going to be the way it was. Beck off the gate. Yeah, hun. You went backwards first. Sometimes there is just a force that we cannot get around. Whether it's in life or in y'all's fight game, there is just sometimes a force that y'all cannot get around. And for Beck, Christine is that. Christine is that for a lot of the female fighters. So there's only been one that can even claim a victory over her, over Christine, Helen Peralta. But I will say that I felt like this second fight, like y'all changed my minds, girls. Like I really believe, all the way going into this card, like this card kind of, I don't know, Miss Nikki kind of had a lot of energy flowing in and out, and like I just threw all the bones on the table, let them fall where they may. And I usually don't like to see rematches, but y'all changed my mind last night. Y'all really did. Like there's a couple fights from this card alone that I want to see a rematch. But Christine and Beck, y'all put on such a fantastic co-main event. You guys you guys really lit that spot up with that fight. Y'all really did. And I think probably in the fourth round, maybe, as Christine's coach was talking to her, like her hand was kind of in view of the camera, and it was her right hand. It was swollen. She might have injured her hand or broke her hand. And this time, I think she did break Beck's nose. Like, I'd be surprised if Beck's nose is not broken. Yo, I'm really feeling Christine Ferrera's coach for this fight. Like, that young man, he just brought the calmness. Like, she was looking dead into his eyes. She was absorbing what he was saying. She was listening. And most times she did what he asked her to. But there was a point, I think at that point when I was looking at her hand going into the fifth round, maybe it was going into the fourth round. And Christine showed how much power she has. Like, Beck was not able to like manhandle her in the clinch. Christine was doing the manhandling in the clinch. And that's what I said. How many fighters in this bare knuckle squared ring have y'all seen back up? Literally back her up. And I think maybe, damn, told y'all every time she got her on them rungs, she fired off some pork chops on her ass. She fried them and dyed them and had some fried apples with them and everything. Like, that was not the spot. And what's weird is that in her early fights, Beck had a lot of ball movement on her feet. Like, she was an active fighter. Like, where does she come with this flat-footedness? I think that could be a challenge. I mean, what is going on with that? Like, when she's resetting, she starts to bounce, but then it goes away. Yeah, just completely flat-footed. Yes, this is the third round. Um, Beck's husband is talking to her in between the rounds, and she hears that he's talking to her, but she's having a conversation with herself in this moment, and she's fucking saying to herself, "This shit is happening again." This shit is happening again. That's exactly what she's saying to herself. And like I said about the first fight, it wasn't that I thought Beck was running from Christine moving backwards, but just the fact that she went backwards, I think, is what caused her, yeah, to receive the damage that she did. But even when she won an exchange in this fight with Christine here in part two, she didn't capitalize off of it. Like, she didn't chase into Christine like when she knows she got that 1-2 off and Christine kind of stumbled back a little bit or was off her setting, off her footing. She didn't come in and follow it up with anything. She just fell back. Now her head movement, you did not put it together, baby. What was you doing? You didn't put it together. You weren't, like, you showed glimpses of what we know you can do, Beck. You absolutely showed glimpses. Like, you were too flat-footed. You only used your head movement every now and again. And like I said, when you did have a moment when you was able to make Christine have to reset, or yeah, reset. You your killer instinct wasn't there, baby. So basically, she just used the Canelo move, inched up to you and just gave you what she wanted you to have. She took a little bit too coming in, but not as much as she came and get left your ass. So damn. But I really enjoyed this part two fight with you ladies. Absolutely superb performance on both teams, both fighters. Just superb. I couldn't ask for. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being fight of the year. Christine and Helen did it the first time. Let's see if Christine can make that happen again. And yeah. So as far as that goes, I was thinking about, could it possibly be that the promotions get together and make this fight for Christine and Helen? Both girls put whatever belt they have on the line from their respective promotions and let them fight. Whoever wins gets to keep the other one's belts and make it good. And at least has to defend that belt at least one time at said promotion. Y'all can make that happen. Y'all can make that happen. And as far as Christine fighting somebody as big as Chris Cyborg, she's going to have to get, she's going to have to stop. She can't be flat footed in a fight like that. Christine, she's going to have to move. She's going to have to make Chris Cyborg reach and miss so she can bop her up, as she says. Yeah. Yeah, and those moments back when you threw your 1-2 down the pike and they reached her and she was in that. And she was in that transition period, which is a second or two. You didn't take advantage. You didn't try to jump on her. And there were some times where you beat her to the punch with the jab, but you wouldn't follow it up with anything. Yeah, this is the fourth round going into the fifth round, I believe. I couldn't ask either lady to do no more than what they did in this fight. Like, y'all put on a superb, excellent, technical, bare knuckle freaking show. Y'all absolutely did. Y'all both worked as hard as y'all could in the clinch. Y'all both, I think both of y'all did great work in the clinch. Yeah, Christine's hand is pretty swollen there. Yep, round 5. And I think it might have been a little discouraging to back. Christine has this really great way of breaking her opponent's guard. Like she gets those hands around whatever guard when she feels like it most times. Like when y'all be here, she can get her hand through here. She comes straight up the middle. She can get y'all right here. She comes through here. She just has this awesome way of breaking y'all's guards or setting y'all up to let your guards down. So she can land the punch she wants to. That was awesome sauce. That was an awesome fight, ladies. Awesome. And Christine, of course, dominated. Who got bucked up last night, y'all? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's next for Christine. I don't know what's next for Bet. I mean, I don't see her. I really don't see her going down to 115. I don't think she wants to do that at all. Like she ain't probably been 115 pounds since before she became a mother. And some can even say that possibly you won this last round. Well, most of it. But because you were going on the back foot, you know the judges be looking at stuff like that. So it didn't matter. And I believe Christine learned that from her fight with Helen because she went backwards. And I still, like I said, yeah, I looked at that fight again and I just feel like on some real pure, unbiased, looking at it as hard as I could, Christine landed more shots. It just looked better for Helen because she was the bigger fighter and was able to get Christine to move backwards in her motion. Y'all know what it is, my cherry Pepsi. Yes. So congratulations, ladies. Congratulations. So I'm going to go back to Arnold and Mick's fight. Another fight that I told you guys was very important on this card. And it absolutely was. It absolutely was. I told y'all that if AJ was able to procure this belt for the third time, he would have done something that no other fighter in the history of bare knuckle has ever done. I told y'all that this fight was probably one of the most important fights outside of that first one that he fought for the BKFC and Police Gazette belt. He and Mick Terrell both came in almost 30 pounds heavier than what they did in their first fight. I would say 33 and a half pounds more, maybe 32 pounds heavier than they were, both of them, in their first fight. I also, once y'all watched me watch the weigh-ins, literally. So I looking at Mr. Terrell, he just very much looked focused. And I think I said in the video before that weigh-ins video that yeah, it was a bit of a messy situation the first time they fought with Mr. Terrell coming over here. Want to be known or do you want to be remembered? Bare Knuckle Hall of Fame. Yeah. So I told you I was a little bit of a mess with Mr. Terrell the first time, not with him as the fighter. I'm just saying like the situation that he came into was a little messy when he came over here. He got sick, and it was just a whole big thing for that young man the first time. And I think it I don't know if it played a part in what happened the first time between him and AJ, but I knew this time that he would come healthy, focused, and wanting that back from AJ. I don't think even if the belt was not on the line, he wanted that loss back from AJ. Fair exchange is no robbery. So that's what I truly believe he just had in his mind since the first meeting they had. And he bided his time. He went and fought back in the division. He waited. He watched everybody else roll through, get that belt. He ain't say nothing. He ain't put nobody down. He ain't talking no mess to nobody. None that Miss Nikki seen. That's what I'll say. None that I seen. But yeah, he just bided his time. And it ends up that them two meet again. And I think, you know what, that was, I appreciate that choice from BKFC to make those two, you know, the top contenders for that heavyweight belt. I think y'all made a really good choice in this fight. The fight meant a lot to both gentlemen, so I think we got the best fight out of both of them. And I think we got the best fight out of AJ because he took it very serious. Like he didn't come in with that playful spirit that he usually has. He came in as focused as he could possibly be. I really believe that. And I believe what was the downfall in the ending of this fight was the fact that they both came in 30 pounds heavier than they did the first time they fought. The elevation, the elevation played havoc on a lot of people's bodies last night up there in Utah. I know it did. And that's why we seen the ending to the fight the way we did because AJ was pretty much winning this fight. He was winning all the rounds that it got to. And he just his body just would not hold up anymore. I don't think his cardio was bad. I believe it was the elevation that started to take effect and the extra 30 pounds that he had to deal with when him and Mick were in a clinch style. But most of the time, AJ kind of put himself under Mick. So if that's what took effect in the fight, is that the weight was on him and something he didn't maybe mentally plan for in that elevation, he kind of put himself in that position, in those positions, because the ref had to warn him about going down so low. But we know that's all a part of AJ's fight style. And just looking at Mick Terrell in between the rounds, like he was not to be deterred. He was not for the shits last night. He just was not for it. I think he felt like if he was going to be if he fought on his worst day the first time they fought, that his success could be much greater now that he's healthy and you know what I'm saying, ready to fight. Yeah, AJ was winning just every round. And I don't know what happened. All I can assume is that the weight between him and Mick Terrell being 30 pounds heavier and him having to deal with that in the fight, it just took effect. Because I told y'all Mick Terrell was going to probably be the bigger fighter in the fight night. And he is. He's definitely the bigger fighter. Like usually wherever AJ comes into his fights is where he usually stays. And it could have been some of them body shots that Mick was putting on AJ's ass that slowed his tempo down. Yeah, them shits will knock the shit out of you if the air is already thick and he's able to land them effective body shots. It may not stop you in that moment, but over a period of time they start to wear on you and take effect. Yeah, that could have been what it was. It's the body shots that he was the little rabbit punches and the clinches. And that definitely plays an effect on your circulation in your body, which provides air to your lungs. So there you have that. And what is it? In this third round, AJ was just not hearing nothing nobody was saying. He just wanted water and to be cooled down. That's how come I feel like having that extra weight going into the fight for both of them was something that combined with the elevation, they may not have, even if y'all plan for that, like y'all cannot mimic, y'all can't mimic that. No matter how hard y'all try. Maybe some machines out there that may help y'all mimic that, but nothing can mimic the moments in the fight. You understand what I'm saying? Like y'all don't know it's going to happen until it happens a lot of times. So yeah, AJ just slowed down considerably, and I don't think that the punch that sent him to the canvas hurt him. It just was the last one that he could take. Like he didn't have, like y'all see he sprawled out because he needed the blood to circulate through his body and provide his muscles with what they needed because he couldn't, it wasn't doing it. It just was not getting there for him. And you guys as wrestlers know that whenever you're tired, bending over is the worst of the things to do. Y'all should stand up and allow the blood to flow freely. But because that is a part of AJ's fight style, that's what he does. He bends himself over. Yeah, Mick hurt him going into what, the fourth round? Yeah, going into the fourth round. So Like I said, I don't really think that the punch that knocked AJ to the canvas is, I don't think it was a damaging punch or one that actually like hurt him. He just, like, his body was not getting enough oxygen. His blood couldn't feed enough oxygen to his muscles and his lungs at the same time. And Mick said it. He said the stamina. I've been working on my stamina, and obviously he did, because the elevation did not affect him as it did AJ. But I think that the fight could have went either way for either guy. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all, because it could have been either side that it ended like this for. So AJ got knocked down once. He got up. Yeah, he's breathing hard right there as he gets up. Like, he's super breathing hard. Yeah. I'm so sorry, Rubaye. But you just fell down against the ropes like, oh. Yeah, look at him. He's sprawled out because he needs the blood to circulate to his muscles and his body, because he's probably feeling a little suffocated, just a little. And the only reason why I know that it was the elevation is because even one of the hometown kids suffered the bad fate of the elevation. And he's from there, Mr. Mike Jones. He absolutely is from there. And y'all see what it did to him. He should be used to training and fighting in that elevation. And he got right in there, and that shit jumped on him like it was a rattlesnake on a rat. For sure. And I think he probably was one of the people vetted to win. He was definitely a hometown favorite. Um, yeah, I'm looking at this right now. This fight went what, 2 rounds, maybe 3? I don't know who Mr. Lozano should fight next. I don't know. But yeah, this definitely took effect on, and it could have just been because this was Mike Jones' first bare knuckle fight. Um, no, I really think it had a lot to do with the elevation, because he was landing some good shots on Mr. Lozano. He pushed him back and landed some great shots on him until, like, his body just seemed like it wasn't getting enough oxygen. And you could see it. His body just, he starts to wilter. And I know y'all was like, what round is this? And he got up. Mr. Jones got up. He got knocked down. He got up, I think, twice. Let me see what round this is about to be. Yeah, I think that was just the first round of the fight. I'm about to find out as soon as them cheeks, the card girls, show me where I'm at in this fight, because I just don't feel like messing with the video. Yeah, Mr. Lozano was pretty freaking savage in that fight last night. He was not going to allow Mr. Jones to breathe. He said, "You want the smoke? You got it. You got it." Yeah, and although Mr. Lozano is looking gooey in the middle, and they had the doctor look at his eye, I just knew. I was like, is this the setup? Is this the setup? They gonna try to steal the fight from him because he winning. But what? Round three? Yeah. He was dead to rights in round three, but he still got up off that stool. He still came out and met Mr. Lozano in the middle of that ring. And he gave it all he had until his body just was like, no more. Yeah, that clinch work Lozano put on his ass was enough. I'm so sorry. I'm just laughing at the way like whole body just collapsed. Like, and I don't think it was because he was so beat up. I think it just had a lot to do with the elevation. Like, that's why I said when I seen him go down and he's a hometown fighter, I knew then that elevation is not nothing to be messed with. Mm-mm. Next time y'all fight in Utah, y'all might want to go up there a week early. A week early. And Mr. Rivera and Mr. Jeremy, the Heathen Stevens, I absolutely love to see that fight run back. I sure would. It was a great fight. Um, of course, the doctor had to stop it. I told y'all, the doctor stops the stuff because he knows if y'all take any more damage to the damage that y'all already have, it's not going to be good for y'all in the future. So he got to protect y'all. The refs got to protect y'all. Everybody's supposed to protect y'all, especially from yourselves. The Vandermeer Rodriguez fight, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Them first three fights on the card, like y'all was just out shooting guns, like buck, 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 buck. I think Mr. Vandermeer was another fighter who not Vandermeer. Yeah, Vandermeer. I think he was another fighter that the elevation caught hold of him too quickly, receiving those punches and then not having enough oxygen flowing through his body or feeling like he doesn't have enough oxygen flowing through his body took a lot out of him. Yeah, I know some of y'all didn't want to quit, but didn't have no choice. Congratulations, Mr. Vandermeer, Mr. Rodriguez, on your win. And both of these are return fighters, so yeah, somebody's O had to go, I believe. So congratulations, Mr. Rodriguez. Yes, from Fightheads MMA. Yeah, I was hard. Y'all was fighting hard last night. Yes, and I know everybody want to be about that life. Every single one of y'all want to be about that life. Now, the only fight that just irritated my soul, but not really, was the Basir Moa fight. Like a whole freaking 30 something pounds, bro. Yeah, this fight between Bradshaw and I have it ready down. Dennison. Yeah, I know a lot of people may have looked at that fight and said Mr. Dennison should have been another one that was able to keep the onslaught of an ass whooping with his on himself with his length and range. But Mr. Bradshaw, Trevor Bradshaw, said, "Hell no, not today." Yeah, he was one of my fighters that, like I said, you guys sometimes, even if there's a height discrepancy, sometimes it's just not effective. It doesn't matter to some of you guys. Y'all don't let it be a problem. Y'all just don't let it be a problem. So, hmm. So I noticed when I think Mr. Bradshaw went into orthodox style, it became an issue for Mr. Dennison. He switched it a little bit in this fight. Enough to throw Dennison off of his fight game and land the punches that he needed to. Damn, Mr. Bradshaw. That was nasty. Yo, he trying to get up. Oh, he ain't no good. He done. Mr. Dennison is done. Like, I'm surprised the ref let that fight go. I am so shocked he let that go because you could clearly see that that man was not even there. And what happened to him? Not even 3 seconds later, he's laid out on his back, looking up at the bright stars, the bright lights. Good luck with that. Okay, so let's see. Let's take a little quick look at this first fight. Schultz and Hilton. I told y'all Mr. Schultz looked like the guy to pull up with the tow truck to pull you out the snowbank. He showed up, but he could not find his range. Mr. Hilton was able to keep him at bay with his length. Yeah, I think he just was not able to get up in the middle where he needed to be to land some of his effective punches. And Shout out to Jeff Houston, Mr. Live Worldwide. So effectively on this card, um, they was able to get rid of and shut down the game of two of the first, that were two of the ones that were on that first card. Absolutely. So at this point, from the early fighters, I believe Beck, I mean not Beck, but Christine and Britain are left because even oh mm, mm, yeah, Mr. Schultz wanted to fight. He just could not get rid of the disparity between his length and Mr. Hilton's length. And I think Mr. Hilton was a one of the homegrown fighters too. He was a hometown favorite too. And he circled left. Mr. Hilton circled left, which negated that that left punch for Mr. Schultz. He was circling into his power hand, so he he had no space to really draw it back to throw it out there. Damn, I think that first punch that he landed on him opened him right up underneath his left eye. Good job standing on your bicycle. Damn, that one too was nasty, Mr. Hilton. Good job standing on your bicycle and keeping him abreast with that motion. Yeah, it didn't benefit you to go backwards, did it, baby? Then you tried to come with that looping overhand right, and he caught you with that left. Finally, he caught you with it, but it didn't sit you down and didn't make you take a second thought about coming forward again. So, yeah, Mr. Schultz's eyes wide open. He bleeding all over the place. At this point, this is still the first round. Good foot move. Oh, he came in nasty with that 1-2 again. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That cut's nasty. Stevie Wonder can see that. But our cut men did a great job of what's the word of taking care of the fighters in between the rounds. And kept the doctor from stopping some of them fights. Yeah, that's the excellent work of your cutmen fighters being the best at their craft. Ooh, ooh, that 1-2. Yeah, that eye look pretty damn bad. It's already closed. It's pretty much closed. Ooh, yeah, baby. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That is it. So I'm saying The doctor stoppages do count because it is the work that the opposing fighter put in, whether we like it or not. He busted that eye open. It was a strike to his eye that busted his eye open. The only way they usually don't make it count is if it was like an intentional headbutt that caused the injury. Then it may make the fight. It may DQ the fighter who threw the headbutt or whatever. Congratulations, Mr. Dennison, on your win, baby. Mr. Hilton, on your win. Congratulations. But let me tell you something, young man. Don't oh, some fighters are going to be quick, hun. So that dropping of your hands, that Stephen Wonderboy type style, karate low stand, don't do that with some of these other fighters because they'll catch your ass and put you straight to sleep, baby. And roll your pockets while you down there on the damn canvas. Oh, show. Yeah, I want to see Mr. Stevens and Mr. Rivera, maybe part two of that. See how that goes. Yeah, that was a doctor stoppage fight, but that was due to a strike that Mr. Stevens landed on Mr. Rivera that caused that kind of damage, that caused the damage for the fight to be stopped. So it works. Fighters like that are dangerous, you guys. And I say that because most times if they have the ability to cut you open, if they land that same punch a couple more times on that same spot, they done their job for the night. Your ass going home, going to the emergency room while they go out and do the electric slide. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mr. Rivera ended up at the emergency room last night. Dr. Muzi and the cut guys are great there. Dr. Muzi may have been able to maybe give him butterfly stitches in that moment. I doubt if he did that. I think he probably just sent him out to the hospital. Yeah, I want to see that run back. Absolutely. So let's go to the chocolate cake of the evening. Mr. Perry versus Mr. Alvarez. I told your ass, Eddie Alvarez, that you need to be moving around in that square circle like a squirrel running from a pit bull. Don't stand and trade with this man. Keep your head off the center line. You already know what he's bringing. He told you what he was doing. He told you he was coming straight down the pike, and that's what the hell he did. He did not vary from what he told us he was going to do, Mr. Mike Perry, at all. He took some hella punches, though. Mike Perry took some great punches in this fight. But let me say this. Y'all see how brick hard that man's head is, right? Like Eddie Alvarez showed y'all last night how brick hard his head is. Because Eddie was able to box him up a little bit, but all it takes is one punch, and he broke his face. Look, that's the second time Mike Perry has broken something on somebody in that square ring. Like he broke Luke Rockhold's fucking tooth. You know what kind of power that takes to hit somebody's tooth and chip it in half? He didn't knock the tooth out. He chipped it. That's the kind of force you have to have in a car accident, riding a bicycle and meeting the ground. without no type of brace. That's the type of force he put into that punch and broke Luke's tooth. Now he done broke Alvarez's eye socket. Yo, y'all know he can be knocked out. Y'all know that he will stand and trade with any one of y'all. He kind of had a robotic type look about him last night, but he was comfortable with his movement. Mike Perry, he was comfortable with his movement because Mr. Alvarez didn't make him uncomfortable. Even receiving the punches he did from Mr. Alvarez, it did not make him uncomfortable. He didn't put him in a space. That's what I said going into the fight. What does he have planned for him? He had to have had a plan going into the fight, because if he didn't, it was not going to fare well for him. And even though he had a plan, he was able to execute it very well to a high degree. All it took was one freaking punch from Mike Perry, and he broke his fucking face. And y'all already know, for anybody that feels like they want to enter the square ring with Mr. Perry, be ready for that rock hard head of his. Eddie never really went to the body on Mike. Never went to the body. All headshots. I told you, once somebody takes an A count in the fight, unless they get that A count. And even Mike took a nice little damn. He took a nice little body shot to Alvarez's ass here in the second round. I mean in the second round. Yeah, and his face started to immediately swell up. His face started to immediately swell up. And it was not his, it wasn't his corner that stopped the fight. It was Mr. Alvarez himself that stopped this fight. He told his team he could not see. And they had no choice but to stop the fight. He did some good work in there with Mr. Perry, though. You did too much standing in front of him. You took shots that you probably should not have taken in this fight, Mr. Alvarez. And maybe if you would have got up, not been flat footed in the fight, and got up on the balls of your feet just a little bit, baby, bounced around just a little bit. Yeah, you had it, but it was coming, but you never got able to get set with it. Again, he made you fight his fight. Although you were landing the flush shots and, you know what I'm saying, temporarily stopping him in that forward motion coming forward, you just stopped his motion of coming into you long enough for him to take another step. Like, you didn't make him say, oh shit, let me circle out. Let me take a step back and reset. Hell no, his ass was like a robot. It was like fighting a Terminator in that bitch last night. I'll be back. Kudos to you, Mr. Alvarez. I'm glad that you recognized and understood that your injury was there, and that I'm glad you told your team. I'm glad you told your team so they could stop the fight because I would not have liked to see you go back out and get hit again in that eye and then have permanent damage. At this point, you can heal from it. So kudos to you. That was an awesome fight. It was a great fight on both sides. Like, and I will say this: I did watch the post-fight press conference. I only watched those two. I didn't see what anybody else had to say as of yet. You guys, I'll go back and watch it and see if there's anything I need to decipher from it. But at this point, like, and I respect Mr. Alvarez and the game that he brought to the fight. And Mr. Perry, he seemed like he was trying to do his best to avoid saying to the rest of you guys there at BKFC, y'all not shit compared to him. He said it several different times. It was like he didn't really want to have to say it. So how about this? I feel like since the scales are the way they are in that situation, for any of you guys who feel like you want to challenge him, how about y'all put those said belts on the line? Y'all want him to put up that King of Violence belt. Y'all want to take a crack at that. How many of y'all, Dave Mondale, Lorenzo Hunt, Louis Palomino, which one of y'all is willing to put your said belt in your weight division if he comes and meet y'all in that weight class? Are willing to put those belts on the line against his King of Violence belt. And whoever wins the fight is truly the king of that division. Let's see. I mean, I'm just asking. I just want to know. Miss Nikki just want to know what's really, really good. Will y'all put said belts on the line against his King of Violence belt and go in there and face him straight up, just like that? I'm just asking the question. Just asking a question. That's all Miss Nikki is doing. And I really, I mean, Mike Perry and Conor McGregor, Tyson Fury, Ryan Garcia. It's weird that his name is even in this conversation. But we have very few people right now in combat sports that their social media following turns into pay-per-view sales that they need them to be or want them to be, and even walk-up ticket sales. Very few of you guys have that power. And unless y'all are able to take that away from those guys, y'all just in for a long trek. Y'all just really in for a long trek. Absolutely. I don't even know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. But congratulations again to Christine for defending her belt. One more again. I'm throwing it out there. Is it a possibility we could see the promotions get together and um make a fight, a mega fight for these two, for Helen and Christine? And both belts from each promotion is on the line, and whoever comes out victorious gets said belts from their opponent's promotion, and the contract state that they have to at least defend that belt at least once at said promotion. So that means if Helen in her debut at BYB for the featherweight belt over there, which includes the Police Gazette belt, remember them two girls fought for that belt before at BKFC. That Police Gazette belt and that bare knuckle fighting championship belt was on the line at the time. And yeah, let's see. Let's see. And the defense of the belt cannot, shall not be with the person that lost it. So that means that a brand new opponent will have to be in line for that defense of that belt that was taken from the other promotion. How about that? Mm-hmm. Also, also, yeah, the Duarte Garcia fight. I told y'all that hook that Mr. Duarte loves so much, that all the everybody leading into the professionals, everybody that had an opinion on this fight between him and Ryan Garcia had, was about that hook that Mr. Duarte loves to throw. I told y'all that was going to be, I felt like it could be a downfall in that fight with Ryan. I knew in my mind that Ryan was going to be the busier fighter. He was going to move around more. And he knew that Mr. Duarte was just going to do what he did, which was use his usual shell and come forward and try to land his punches that way. He only will throw a punch if he can see it. But if you always, in this motion, you can't always see your punches you want to throw. And yeah, that fight ended the way it did. I wasn't for sure if Mr. Garcia would be able to stop Duarte. I thought Duarte was going to be able to withstand Ryan's power. And I am not upset at the ref in that fight. He did his job. And if what is being said from Mr. Calvin Ford, that he's fought under, his team has fought under that ref also in recent history, and his And what he tells y'all in the fighter meeting is get your ass up at 8. If you don't, I'm counting you out. Y'all only get an 8 count in your amateur career. Y'all get a few extra seconds in y'all pro career. So, yeah, y'all have that 2 extra seconds, but it's not really there. So I'm not mad that the ref called the fight when he did. Like, Mr. Duarte was not in his body anymore. Yeah, he's had the stank. He was on the stanky leg. He did the stanky leg. Yeah, he did the stanky leg. He did not know where he was at when he was on his knee. He didn't know where he was at. He didn't know whether he was near his corner or over there by Ryan's corner. He didn't know where he was at. So, yeah, the ref did his job. Did his job. And to get a stoppage, one more for y'all asses. Somebody getting bucked up. And for the spectacular stoppage that you got, Mr. Garcia, again, I'm going to wrap this around this pole. There was a time, like if you had a came into this fight on weight, none of the other legitimate 140ers could question you. But that's something that they can always have in the box to throw at you. They ain't even got to have their hands when they throw that one at you, baby. Yeah. So your next fight, like you can't be out here proclaiming you want to be the king of any division if you cannot make that weight in said division. Period. And for those that do make the weight, they not having that shit. They not about to give you a goddamn thing when it comes to them belts and a pound overage or nothing. They not going to give you anything. They're going to suck you dry every time. They're going to suck you dry every time. And whether you win or lose the fight, that's what I'm saying. Like, outside of you getting the win, like, and then you call out Rolly Romero. Like, what? Y'all just want to pick on that kid and y'all don't like being picked on. But y'all want to pick on that young man. Oh, he was beat up by old man. He was this, he was that. Let me tell y'all, y'all all know going into any one of y'all's fights, all it takes is one punch for either one of y'all to be laid out on the canvas looking up at the lights. So this win does not negate that loss you took from Javante. Like, this is always going to be a question in my head why y'all did not make weight, both of y'all. Like, I'm on both of y'all helmets at this point. Like, why y'all didn't make weight? So I feel like at this point you should not be trying to call anybody out whether they a good boxer at 140 or not until your ass prove that you can make that weight. Cut it out, baby. Cut it out. Because ain't nobody about to put their line on it, put their belt on the line for somebody who cannot make weight. And what would be the point in what proof, what are they proving by taking a fight with you and you haven't proven that you can make the weight? And I don't have no, what's the word I'm looking for? Opinion on How you looked in your fight last night, I don't have no opinion on that. You looked how you look. It wasn't gonna get no better. It wasn't gonna get no worse. Um, like I said, and it doesn't do your team justice either to allow those type of things to be a problem. Your weight, like you earned enough money. Where was your nutritionist? Why were you not on weight? That is really bothering me. Why were you not on weight? That is bothering me. And y'all did not. Y'all said y'all signed a contract for 140. You and Mr. Duarte put it out there. Your promoters put it out there. Everybody put it out there that this was 140 fight. Then nobody notified Ms. Nikki that this was going down at a catchweight fight. So I'm more concerned with you. How you gonna call anybody out if you're not making weight in their division? Boy, shut up, please. Oh, Jesus, take the wheel. And I don't know if I think a fight would be the lead up at the very least between you and Rolly Romero would be great. You know what I'm saying? Both of y'all got a little check that off the box type shit going on. And it would be interesting to see y'all leading up to a fight that you two are going to fight each other. It just would. I mean, now y'all to call this kid's name out. It weirds me. It wears me out sometimes in my mind. Like y'all talk bad about certain fighters and say they're terrible, and they can't fight for shit. But y'all will say y'all will fight them. How does that make you look? You only look as good as your opponent allows you to. So I don't know exactly what went on last night at BYB, but maybe I could spend the rest of this evening um, doing my little research and figure out and find out, and then maybe have some fighters from over there come up and talk with Miss Nikki, and any of my boxers, any of my MMA fighters, any of my bare knuckle fighters. Any of y'all want to come up and have a conversation with Miss Nikki, you are all welcome. Whether you high level pros or beginning amateurs, you guys are all welcome. I don't make no difference with nobody because the same bad habits or the same good habits y'all can take from your amateur career, you can take it to your pro career. So y'all just get paid as professionals. Y'all get paid as professionals. So, the standards, the requirements become meaningful. The requirements become meaningful. And that's why I say to you guys, y'all cannot MMA, bare knuckle, boxing. Y'all just cannot let these 0.9s, 0.6s, you can't even let 0.1 be an issue for you making weight. Because it could kill what you have spent so many years working up to. So although Ryan won the fight, he lost it on the scale. And so did Mr. Duarte. They both lost on the scale. And that's like, I'm going to need to know. And I figure God will reveal all in his time. But I really would like to know why neither one of y'all came in on weight. I don't know where Mr. Garcia goes from here. Like I said, the other 140ers definitely can just throw out there like a bone from a chicken. Like, I don't want to fight him. He can't make weight. And spend a year talking about your ass not being able to make weight before they sign a contract to fight you, no matter how much money it's for. So, with that being said, congratulations to everyone for their performances this past weekend. I didn't even like go down the card that Oscar and Ryan were fighting on to see what I know. Mr. Schofield, the another highly touted prospect over there at Golden Boy, won his bout in a TKO first round finish of his opponent. That's great for you. Congratulations, young man. You took a moment. That's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't. Him and his opponent did not know that they were going to be moved up to that co-main event spot when the visa papers for one of the other fighters fell off. That their fight was in that spot on that card. They didn't know they were going to get moved. There's moments like that that y'all have to be prepared for. Absolutely. Because as easily as he went up there and won that fight last night, Mr. Schofield, he could have very easily went up there and lost it. So, yeah, congratulations, Mr. Schofield. You have, just because of the placement on your fight on that card, you got some great freaking press, and you took that and turned it into a great win, and now people are talking about you. Yeah, you see that kid Schofield? You know, that's what you got opponents out there looking at you now. You got people wanting to fight you now. Oh, he think he that good. Oh, he just finishing people. Oh, he's the newest hottest prospect. Oh, you got a target on your back now, baby. You got a target on your back. Let's go. Oh, and before I get the hell out of here for tonight, yo, the next biggest thing in boxing is about to happen with Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. That fight is going to be off the chain. It's going to be December 9th. Oh my God. And let me tell you something. Again, I can only go by what you show me. I can only go by what you tell us. So, with that being said, as much of a mean boy Devin likes to be with his opponents going into a fight with the bullyish behavior, pulling up on people, looking down his nose at them, that kind of thing, the lead up to the fight. You know what I'm saying? That energy sometimes sits a little sideways for me, for some of y'all. I think it's just doing the most and you really don't need to, but that's what y'all do to, get the views and get the eyes on y'all to, sell those fights that you guys are in. But it is Regis that the media, and I don't know if it's purposeful from Haney's camp that they're not doing a lot of, outside of obligated media, things they need to do through the promotion of the fight. I don't know if that's all, if it's purposeful that he's not being very vocal going into this fight at this particular time, but it seems like media is very horned in on Regis Prograis, and they're allowing him to just be himself and say all the things that he needs and wants to say going into this fight. I think this young man probably I think his head is clear going into this fight. I think he definitely has a plan that he wants to execute. Will Devin Haney allow him to execute this plan? And that's another one. Mr. Haney is coming up to meet Regis. But even in times for him, but I don't think that anybody can ever say like any of his fights are in question because he didn't make weight. I think he always just has a hard time making weight, but he makes weight. So you see what I'm saying? Like those are the things. Like you ain't gonna look back and say, well, he don't really. He technically didn't win the fight because he didn't make weight. So we could say a lot of things about a lot of people. But again, Mr. Garcia, I digress when I remind you, baby, that shot you shot over the bow at Bernard Hopkins about being knocked out by a white guy, excuse me, in that conversation, one thing that is not being said, that he missed weight. So are you going to be King Catchweight or are you going to be King Ryan? You got to make a decision, baby. Your team got to make a decision. And again, people might be in a certain mind space about some of the things that you were doing in your fight, Mr. Garcia. But that shit worked for you last night. It worked for you. So congratulations, baby. Next time, fucking make weight. I don't care. I don't care about none of that extra bull crap. None of it. Make freaking weight, baby. And if y'all don't want to tell him, if y'all don't want to talk to him about it, Miss Nikki certainly don't have an issue with saying it. You'll probably never hear this message, but make weight. That's very important. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody else can, like Javante can joke you about that 136 shit all the rest of your life. Now you want to get a rematch with him. Will you ever get it? Who knows? Because, see, he got money too. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like you going to offer him an amount of money he ain't never seen before. Make your weight. And when fights are being made, those are the things that in them dark room, behind them closed doors, in those dark corners, those are the exact things that they are talking about. Those are the exact things that your promotion has to haggle about with the other promotion or the other promoter about stuff like that. Oh, y'all can't ask for this amount of money because he's not made weight for X amount of fights. Or you what is it? I can't get it. I'm not it's not for me, it's not coming together. Maybe it's a disparity for me that I'm not understanding this in this moment. And I told you, just let me know how this pans out for you in the future. Because, like, yo, at least if you make weight and somebody dust your ass off in the fight, you can say you made weight. But you don't want to fucking not make weight. You should, that lesson with you and Javante, like, he knew you weren't going to make 135. He knew you weren't going to make 35. That's why he gave you 36. And there was what? I don't even think there was a belt on the line. Like, he just came in and took your fucking money. That's all he did. And yeah, you made him uncomfortable a little bit in that space when y'all was fighting, but not enough. Not enough. Not enough for him to say he don't want to fight you again. So the next fight, either you got to buckle down and really get this weight thing under control. That's what I'm saying. Where was your nutritionist? You got money. That shouldn't have never happened. I think I would have understood it more if Mr. Duarte had not made weight. But your ass came in 2 ounces heavier than he did. And you have the money. You have the resources. You had the time. You should have been prepared. You don't get to say, because it's not a title fight, I don't have to make weight. Stop it. Those are the little bad habits that you need to get rid of, young man. If you want them to really take you seriously, if you want your offers to mean more than just money to these other fighters. So Regis Progress and Devin Haney. Like, Regis, baby. You got to be another one at this point. Although Devin is coming up to meet you, you are the champion. And at this point, we know they have already looked at you as the underdog or touted you as the underdog, and you're the champion. You, as Mr. Benavidez did a couple weeks ago, it is effectively your job to stop him from taking your belt and anything else that comes along with having your belt in that 140 division. It is effectively your job. And you have been saying to us that you're going to knock him out. Now, whether you knock him out or not, effectively, you better stop him from taking your belt. And I guess at this point, he doesn't have anything to prove because everybody's on his side to begin with. Who's going to shock the world? Well, you guys, it's not much more that I can say to you at this point. It's the wrap up. Y'all know how Miss Nikki, y'all see where my mind is at with everybody and everything that you guys are doing. So there you have it. I told you I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. And I usually, and 90% of the time, 95% and 98% of the time, I have to go by what you guys show me or what you tell me. And then I make kind of come to my opinion from there. So, love, peace, and hair grease. Congratulations again to everybody. Win, lose, or draw, Miss Nikki is here for the shits with y'all. I really respect what you guys do. I tell y'all all the time, I would not want to meet any of y'all, man or woman, in a dark alley on a cold night. Just one. So, I try to make sure that I stay in my little lane as a podcaster over here, but I also have to call what y'all show me. So, we're going to see. And I need some, I need y'all not to go into your fights emotional. Don't do it. And at this point, we're going to see. Tomorrow kind of sets the cast. The boat is pulling away from the dock starting tomorrow on fight week for Haney versus Progress. Or Progress, yeah. Haney versus Progress, because Progress is the champ. So, yeah, that boat is pulling away from the dock come midnight tonight. So we'll really get to see who is looking drained and who is not going into this fight. And everybody keeps saying that Regis looks the best that they have ever seen him look going into a fight. So, and if he don't believe in himself, then who else will believe in him? And he knows that this fight would definitely change his respect level in the game, his notoriety in the game, and his skill level in the game. So that's all I expect to see out of these two fighters come Saturday night is the best that they have, and for both of them to make weight. So Regis, don't fuck around and lose that belt on the scales, and Haney, don't fuck around and lose the chance to get that belt on the scales.
I'm bound to punch. I'm trying to go. I'm down to rock. You ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit. I'm bound to punch. I'm trying to go. I'm down to rock. Are you ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit. The punch bitches free 99. Capture all my greatness, keep that thing on rewind. Sucker, you can't even lace my boots if it's space to shoot for the guard your grill. Work on dodge your skills, cause the scars are real. Highlight scars and blood, let's showcase some skill. Fight heads, everything on the tape is real. And the host is Nikki and her tapes is real. You tune in, click subscribe, cause it makes sense. I welcome you to the fight heads. Yeah, I'm bound to punch. I'm trained to go. I'm down to rock. You ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that line. I'm bound to punch. I'm trained to go. I'm down to rock. Are you ready to roll? Blood, sweat, fight. We can talk about how they really hit that